Hey y'all, it's Megan here. It is Wednesday afternoon, about 6 o'clock in the evening, and I'm out here on the south facing garden bed at my home here in Dothan, Alabama. That is gardening zone 9. And I'm out here today just kind of messing around. Got the cats outside, and I noticed this bed over here on the south side is looking so full and lush that I thought it would be a really good time to jump on and show y'all what is going on, because we've had a lot of rain lately, which has been great. So all the plants are looking really good. They're all looking really lush. So I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about what I've done over here on the south side of the house and also on the west side of the house. So if you haven't been on the channel before with me, we live in Dothan, Alabama. We own a garden center plant nursery here. We're in gardening zone 9. And I'm basically just a gardener turned nursery owner. So I love plants, get super excited about all the new plants. So anyway, what I have here in the back, which have been doing so great this entire spring and on into this part of the year, are these orange glow knockout roses. I planted 3 of them here kind of in this back area. And they're covering up that water thing that we have over there on the side of the house. They're right here up under our bathroom window. So those are doing really good. Orange glow knockout. And then here I have 2 limelight hydrangeas. And I believe these hydrangeas came over from the other house. You can see they have these brown old blooms, and I could come in and cut them off, and I may not. But they do have their new bloom buds coming on. So they are super healthy, and whether or not you cut off these brown old blooms, it doesn't matter. You don't have to if you don't want to, because they're going to bloom out anyway and go crazy even with them still on. So if you move over here to this retaining wall area where we have our air conditioners and everything, we have a pretty decent bit of weeds right now, so just ignore that. But what we did was I used a plant by Proven Winners called Jukebox. It's a pyroclomes or something like that. I'll put the name up on the screen so you'll know how to spell it. But this looks a lot like a Yopon holly. That's what it reminds me of, with its thin little leaves and its compact shape. But the beautiful thing about the Jukebox is it stays 1 to 2 feet tall and wide. As you can see, these have gotten bigger than 1 to 2 feet. So you could really say they probably get 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, realistically, especially if you live down in the south. We have a really long growing season here, y'all. So our plants tend to get bigger than if you were up north where it gets really, really cold in the wintertime. So we did a drift of these along the south wall, right there where the retaining wall starts, and then they sort of curve, and then it gets into the west facing bed, which is behind our bedroom windows and our sunroom window. We have this bed over here in the back, probably at about 30 feet deep, y'all, off the wall. In the very back, you'll notice that we have podocarpus. We planted them about every 3 feet, and that was probably about a year to a year and a half ago. And they've grown quite a bit since we put them in the ground. But what I'm gonna do is train them to be kind of just in a hedge, like a solid hedge, and that's going to be a really nice green background. And then the filler in this bed, or my middle tier, is the jazz hand loropetalum. And what you're seeing right now are jazz hand loropetalums that have not been trimmed, and they do need to have a trim. Let's see if I can find you though why I love the jazz hand loropetalum. So variegated, I should say. This is the variegated jazz hand loropetalum by Proven Winners. Look at that, y'all. So the new growth on this, like you can see right now, it's green, and it's that, you know, classic color red or pink or purple that a loropetalum gets. But when the new growth first comes out on this plant, it's white, pink, green. It is gorgeous. So the whole plant just becomes this beautiful, amazing, interesting looking shrub. So, okay, so that's our filler. And then over here on the first tier, the lower tier, we've done Touch of Gold Holly, which is also a great plant. It's by Southern Living. Touch of Gold Holly is wonderful because it stays small, probably 2 feet tall. It says it gets 4 feet wide. I've never seen one get that big. Usually you would just keep it in like a 2x2 or 2x3 shrub. But these bring that amazing chartreuse color to any garden. I mean, really, this color is going to go with anything in your garden because it's got that pop, and it just sort of makes everything else pop. So you're looking at this garden in late spring, early summer, after we've had a lot of rain, and I haven't really had a great chance to come out here and actually cut back these loropetalums. See, like this one, they went in the ground about 2 years ago, and I would say that this is about as tall as me, and I'm 5'5". But it's got a really pretty combination of green, pink, and cream on the leaves, which is just a really interesting it's sort of for people who don't mind going outside the box a little bit. It's not just your traditional shrub. I mean, it is, because it's a loropetalum, but it's sort of got an edge to it, which I really like. Now, let me talk to you guys about this weeping cherry tree. So this weeping cherry tree is called a snow fountain cherry, and when we were planting this particular part of my garden bed, I knew there needed to be something here that was like, bam, like a focal point, like a specimen. And, you know, I thought about a few different things, like a bloodgood Japanese maple, a crepe myrtle, you know, just like all the common things that are great, but really common. So I ended up going up to a nursery that is north of me, above Atlanta. It's this awesome nursery called Scottsdale Farms. If you live in the Atlanta area, you really need to take a day trip to Scottsdale Farms. They have all the topiary, all the cool specimens, like everywhere you look is something super cool. So I went up there and I found this snow fountain cherry and brought it home, and it has done really well. And it's just got an amazing effect over here in this area. And it'd be great if this loropetalum branch wasn't sticking halfway up this tree, but you can tell what it's doing here. And it looks so pretty in the spring when it blooms out with its white blooms that just cascade over all the branches. So this is a huge bed, and there's a cherry tree. This is called a snow goose cherry. Yeah, so this is a good time to talk about this. So I've noticed that this snow goose cherry looks like it's browning. It is browning. Some of the branches are turning brown, and I don't know if it's because maybe it's not getting enough water. but also we're in zone 9. So I kind of had to go into using a cherry tree with a little bit of, you know, the understanding that they may not last 20 years in my landscape, okay? Like I might get 10 years out of a cherry tree, but the way I look at it is, you know, if it brings me a lot of joy and if it looks amazing for 10 years, like I'm willing to do that. But here we're a little bit hot and humid for a cherry tree. And, you know, typically they're going to do better up north a little ways, like even up in Atlanta and north is where they thrive. So I don't know. That's just to say that I'm not necessarily scared to take a risk. And sometimes you just take a risk and you just see what happens, and you don't always have success, but that's okay. All right, so let's take a look at the Supertunia bed. Okay, y'all, as you can see, the Supertunia bubblegums are blowing up and going crazy and doing more than I ever dreamed. But this bed looks amazing. And y'all, we got some serious wind the other night and it snapped 2 trees and knocked off a bunch of debris from the pine trees. So that's why there's all this debris in my yard. But okay, here we go, y'all. Check it out. Look at that salvia. And look, can you see the pollinators? Can y'all see the bees? Oh my gosh, they're all over it. I haven't even stopped long enough to notice this. They're all over it. I've never used this salvia before, but it is amazing. It's called Mystic Spires. It is, I believe it's a perennial salvia. It's gonna get about 3 feet tall and wide. Y'all, it's a wonderful, wonderful thriller for a bed. If you have a flower bed at your house, you can do the Mystic Spire salvia in the back, and then you can put some lower growing flowers up under it, like I've done here with these Supertunia bubblegums. And yes, we will get them at the nursery every spring. So feel free to let me know if you need some. But this is a pretty deep bed too, and I've spoken a little bit about it, but this is the big natural area. It's natural, I say that because it's got a few trees in it, and it's just sort of, you know, not super tightly kept. There's layers of plants that we have back here, but some pine trees and a river birch tree that we planted, and my parents are right there, so that's their house. So this bed is pretty big too. It's probably about 50 feet deep from where my driveway ends to behind those large shrubs back there. And it's just looking so good, y'all. So happy about it. My hydrangeas that I planted a couple of years ago back there are just blooming their heads off. Well, I hope everybody's been having a good week. Hope everybody enjoyed this little update. Good to get back on here with you guys. I was at the beach for a week last week at my parents' place in Panama City Beach, just getting some stuff done down there. So I haven't really been here, and I haven't been on my YouTube. But I just wanted to get on here tonight and show y'all how things are looking. So anyway, I hope y'all have a good rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.